Hi everybody. In today's lesson from Unit 3.1, we're going to be introduced to a branch of mathematics called trigonometry. Trigonometry is the study of triangles and the relationships between their sides and angles. What we're going to be studying in class is called right triangle trigonometry. So we're going to always have a right triangle. And in that right triangle, there are two acute angles. For each angle, there is a leg of the triangle that is opposite the angle and a leg that is adjacent to the angle. So if you take a look at our diagram, we've got angle A marked with a single arc. If you go all the way across the triangle to this side, then we say that that is the opposite leg. And then the side that helps to form the angle is called the adjacent leg. Some people make the mistake and label the hypotenuse as the adjacent leg. The hypotenuse is just always labeled the hypotenuse. So if we write the ratio of the opposite leg to the adjacent leg, then this is what we refer to as the tangent ratio. So we can say the tangent of angle A is equal to the ratio of the opposite leg divided by the length of the adjacent leg. Now, in shorthand, we can write this as tan A. So the tangent of angle A is equal to the opposite side, the length of the opposite side, divided by the length of the adjacent side. Now, an even shorter, a short way to remember this would be to think of the letters TOA, or TOA. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. So let's take a look at how we can use the tangent ratio. The first thing you need to be able to do is just identify what the tangent is for a particular angle. So if you notice, I marked angle B with an arc. I can say that the tangent of angle B would be equal to the ratio of the opposite side to that angle divided by the adjacent. So for angle B, the opposite side would be 5. And the adjacent side is 12. Remember that 13 is the hypotenuse, so we want to stay away from that for right now. So we can say simply that the tangent of angle B is equal to 5 over 12. Now, we have two acute angles in this triangle, so I'm going to switch colors, and we're going to take a look at angle C. Now, for angle C, the labels on the sides have to change. So I need to rename those two sides because your perspective changes when you switch angles in the triangle. So now for angle C, 12 is the opposite side because it's all the way on the other side of the triangle from the angle, and 5 is the adjacent side. So we can write this as the tangent of angle C is equal to 12 over 5. And again, tangent is always opposite over adjacent. In our next example, we're going to talk about using a trig table, a scientific calculator, or the scientific calculator on your phone to evaluate different trig functions. Okay, if you were asked to find the tangent of 30 degrees, all you need to do on your calculator is find the tangent button, press it, enter in 30, and then press enter. We're going to take this answer, which you should see a decimal for this one, and we're going to round it to the nearest 10,000th. That means we're going to take a look at it to 4 decimal places. So the tangent of 30 degrees, when rounded to the nearest 10,000th, should be 0.5774. Okay, when you're doing this on a scientific calculator, you just press the tangent key in 30, and then hit enter or equals. On the phone, most of the scientific calculators on the phone want you to type in the angle first. So you would type in 30, and then press tangent, and then press equals, okay? If you're using the trig table, you would look up 30 degrees, look to the right for the tangent column, and then this is the decimal that you would see. Okay, If you got a number different than 0.5774 and you're using either your phone or the calculator, there's a chance that your phone or your calculator might be set to something other than degree mode. We measure angles in 3 different ways, degrees, radians, and gradients, but for our class we want to measure angles in degrees. So if you need help with switching that mode, please let me know or let your teacher know. Okay, in the second case, do the tangent of 45, either on your calculator or by using the table. This one's easy. Tangent of 45 is just 1, no rounding necessary. Tangent of 78 degrees, try that on your phone, and you should get 4.7046. Okay, next we're going to take a look at how the tangent ratio can be used to solve for missing sides and angle measures in triangles. In example 3, it says find the value of x in each triangle below, and we have to round our answers to the nearest tenth, so 1 decimal place. First, it's a good idea to identify your angle, and then label the sides as opposite, adjacent, or hypotenuse. So for 24 degrees, if you travel all the way across the triangle, x is the opposite side, 20 is the adjacent side, and this blank side is our hypotenuse, so I'm not even going to label it. Okay, we know that tangent is the ratio of the opposite side to the adjacent side. And so that lets us set up an equation here in part A. So we can say that the tangent of 24 degrees is equal to x over 20, opposite over adjacent. I want you to think of this as a proportion when we go to solve this. So put tangent of 24 over 1, and then to solve a proportion, remember that we cross multiply. So x times 1 will just give us x, and 20 times the tangent of 24 is something that we're going to do in the calculator. So just type it in. If you're using the scientific calculator, type it in just as you see it, 20, tangent, 24, press equals or enter, and you should see when we round to the nearest tenth that you get 8.9. If you're using your phone as your calculator, okay, you have an iPhone and you're using that, you can do 20 and then hit multiplication. Then you're going to have to hit 24, tangent, and then equals. Okay, so it's slightly different on the phone. Again, if you're having trouble with that on your phone, please speak up and make sure you ask your teacher for some help with that. In part B, our angle is 35 degrees, and 12 is the opposite side, and x is the adjacent side. Okay, there are a couple of different ways in which you can approach this problem. We can just go ahead and write our tangent equation and say tangent of 35 is equal to 12 over x. And now we want to treat this as a proportion, so put tangent of 35 over 1 and cross multiply. X times the tangent of 35 would be equal to 12. Now we have to take a second step to solve for x, because that first step just gets x out of the denominator of the fraction, and now we have to undo this multiplication by dividing both sides by the tangent of 35. Okay, so when you do this, go to your calculator, do 12 divided by tangent of 35, and you should get 17.1. So here are the instructions if you're doing this on your iPhone. So you would type in 12, hit divided by, type in the angle measure, 35 degrees, press tangent, and then press equals. And you'll find that you still come up with the same answer, 17.1. In example 4, it says that we want to find the measure of angle A in each triangle. We're going to round our answers to the nearest whole integer. So if we take a look, first label or mark angle A, just so you know which angle you're working with for sure. And then we want to label the sides according to their relationship with angle A. In other words, 3 would be labeled as the opposite side, 4 is labeled as the adjacent side, and the 5 is the hypotenuse. Okay, remember that tangent of an angle would be equal to the opposite side divided by the adjacent side. So we're going to work with opposite and adjacent for this angle. So we can write the equation, the tangent of angle A is equal to 3 divided by 4. Now this is something a little different. Okay, we're looking for an angle measure, so it's a reverse lookup. We want to tell the calculator, here's the tangent, tell me what angle goes along with it. So I'm going to write the next step as angle A is equal to the inverse tangent. You might say tangent to the negative 1. You can call it the inverse tangent of 3 divided by 4. So to access that on your calculator, you press the second key and then the tangent key, because above the tangent key it'll say tangent to the negative 1. Then type in 3 divided by 4 and hit enter. When you do that, you'll see your number. We want to round it to the nearest whole degree, so it should round to 37 degrees. If you're doing this problem on your calculator, you'd have to hit 3 divided by 4 equals, and it'll give you 0.75. Okay. Then you press the second key, and the tangent key will change to tangent to the negative 1. So press that, and then hit enter. And our final question, again, we're trying to find the measure of angle A. So label the sides according to the relationship to angle A. So this side over here is the opposite side. 8 is the adjacent side. So you can say the tangent of angle A is equal to 8 square root of 3 over 8. Now let's simplify that a little bit before we go to the calculator. Those 8's will divide, so we're just left with the square root of 3. So to tell the calculator to look up the angle who has a tangent equal to the square root of 3, we'll say A equals tangent to the negative 1, square root of 3. And then you go to the calculator and type that in. You should find that A is equal to 60 degrees, and you may have recognized this from the beginning if you take a look at the sides in that triangle. I set it up so it was a special right triangle. This angle would be 30, this angle is 60. So you see those side lengths are 8 squared of 3, 16. Okay, good luck on the check your understanding and also the homework. Please speak up if you need some extra help with this.